three. 1, 2, 3. Let's go.
Everybody, welcome to Teaching Crypto. This is AZcrypto, back with MrFOMO, back with the two-man game. Please hit that like and please hit that subscribe button. That greatly helps us out. Also, hit that bell notification so you know when we're going live. MrFOMO, big development. Blackrock CEO calls Bitcoin digital gold on national television. It's a big deal, and I think you're going to see the effects of this over the long term. When I say long term, over the next 2 years. Sometimes in crypto, it takes a little bit of time. We did get a pump this morning, but it was not long lived. But I think MrFOMO, so Mr. Bitcoin there, it's only a matter of time. I'm going to keep saying this, and I know I sound repetitive. It's only a matter of time before Bitcoin takes off, in my opinion. We're now getting to midsummer. My prediction was late summer, early fall. I think our days are numbered. I really believe it here.
I think Carolina Crew said it best. BlackRock controls everything. So I think this is more of a strategic announcement than anything. I love it. Right? It's not gonna hurt my Bitcoin holdings or my crypto holdings at all for him to say that. So I love hearing people like that. People of his stature say things like that, especially from TradFi. Because I think over time, those kinds of things will have a huge effect on the market. But yeah, they control everything. Yeah. So I would say that this is probably more strategic than anything. He's probably trying to pump his own holdings or the holdings of BlackRock has already, trying to increase the popularity of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in order to get that ETF approved. But I love it. Like this is the kind of stuff that's good for the entire market, right?
And here's the thing. Those ETFs, I think we should remind everyone, could be approved at any point. There's no date given or anything like that. It's not like they said we're going to have a decision August 1st. You could wake up one morning, July 28th, and the ETF could be approved, and you're going to see things go quickly. Yeah, thanks, Ant. Bitcoin right now is struggling just to stay at 30,000. Oh, it just did hit 29K. Wow. Right as we're on the air. So, MrFOMO, a lot of people that are new into crypto might think, oh no. But actually, if you've been sitting in the sidelines, you just got your Voyager funds, it's an oh yes. You want to explain to the audience why this, and I'm going to go over this after you talk. I think this is going to be, not financial advice, I have to say that, these next 48 hours could be a golden opportunity here as the market.
When you get to 30,000, you've got a major psychological level there as far as buying and selling pressure. So, this might be short-lived, but this may be a harbinger of a little bit of a drawback here in the summertime. That's just the summer sort of doldrums that Bitcoin and crypto go through. But yeah, we were talking before the show that this might launch off, but I said, just when you think Bitcoin is about to take off, it has a nice healthy dip and straightens everybody out and shakes the trees and gets rid of all the fearful people.
Yeah, I would personally be shocked if we saw price action all the way back to 25, right? As a lot of people in crypto are saying 28.5, 29.5 would be kind of where the drawback would be. It's impossible to say. It's hard to see us going back to 25. Just
below there, you hit some major levels of buying.
There's a lot of support, right?
27, You're going to hit a lot of support in there again if you get that low. So we've spent a lot of time in this area. So hopefully that just there's still some of those folks that have bought in this area still have some dry powder that they're willing to throw on it.
Yeah, and speaking of opportunities, Litecoin now is trading just under $97. Now you might say, why does it matter? Well, remember last week, some people struck at gold per se when they bought Litecoin in the 80s and sold all all the way up to 114. Maybe he didn't ride it all the way that high. It's impossible to time these things. But, Litecoin in the mid 90s might be a great opportunity here, because I have a hard time believing, Mr. FOMO, one, that Bitcoin is going to stay down throughout the entire month of July. Very, very hard for me to believe. And very, very hard for me to believe that over the next 3.5 weeks, there's not going to be one more Litecoin push. And I'm looking, again, I don't want to, we try not to make predictions, but I'm looking for a 130 price at some point this month heading into August. And so that right now we're at 96. It might be an opportunity here.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I think anytime you see a drawback, especially leading into the halving, with Litecoin as close as we are, with Bitcoin, you have the halving event, but then you still have an extended period of time where the price action goes up. Litecoin's going to have the halving event. Then you're going to go into the Bitcoin halving event. Now, there's going to be some drawbacks in there, of course, right? But you're going to go from this halving event. It's going to have that price action. It's going to get into the Bitcoin halving event and then go further. So there is maybe a thesis in there that Litecoin could explode just based on the timing of these two halving events and how it works out with the Bitcoin bull run. We'll have to wait and see. Nobody has a crystal ball, but that is a decent thesis if you're looking at Litecoin.
Yeah, and again, it's not something I would hold for 18 months, but for the month of July, I might strongly consider it. I want to touch on Voyager really, really quickly. I know people too, family members that are still waiting. Be patient. Hopefully you got that email if you're over 10 days late saying, hey, and there's no excuses, guys. They really dropped the ball. But unfortunately, it's a joke. That's the thing. A lot of people are still pending. Mr. FOMO, we might want to drop the numbers of admin one more time so people can at least call. Some people that called finally did get their stuff resolved, but there's still a lot of people waiting, and it's just frustrating. And it's nothing can be done really at this point. Hopefully they get their act together. And my hope is, hopefully we do have another payment coming this fall if they actually can get the mediation going from A to FTX. And hopefully they do a much better job of anticipating demand and organizing the next withdrawal process so it's not as messy.
Yeah, I mean, you're hearing some real horror stories out there. We've got some people in the chat saying they're still waiting and it's been beyond the 10 days. The 10-day period is out the window at this point. When people have called in, they've called and discussed it with the help center, and the people there have told them that, it says 10 days, but it may now take longer than 10 days. They're still waiting on something like 50,000 accounts to be distributed. And so it sounds like if you've gotten your distribution, then you're one of the lucky ones, because there's still a lot of people out there twisting in the wind on this one. And it's really frustrating, especially now that we're talking about a drawback in the market. You want to have your cannons loaded, right? You want to be able to go out and fire at the research you've done. And so this is a point where these people need that USDC or whatever crypto they're getting out so that they can pump that into, whatever they think is going to move based on their research. And so I just feel really bad for those people, especially seeing the market draw back and seeing an opportunity to kind of jump in below 30,000. That it just shows you again more missed opportunity, more opportunity cost for those people that are still struggling.
And just while you were talking, Bitcoin made it back over 30K. So I think we're going to see today's going to be very interesting to see if 30K can hold. If 30K can hold today and into tomorrow, to me, that's very, very bullish. Now, again, I would only be bearish for the very, very short term. Honestly, I just think, guys, it's going to be hard to hold BTC down for 30K the entire month of July. I think, honestly, I wasn't expecting 40K till later in the fall, maybe sometime in September, October. Now I'm thinking, Mr. FOMO, it might come earlier. I'm not trying to be dramatic or use hyperbole. I just think it's going to be tough to hold this down. Now, we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball about ETFs or anything like that being approved or any positive news that might come. I just think 30K here, that's why I'm thinking 28 to 29. It's going to be hard to get people to sell. A lot of people are holding right now, and they're not selling. And the same with the ETH. Yes, the ETH has gone back down over 1,900. It's about 1,880 right now as we speak. Not a lot of people are selling their Ethereum, and that's a really good sign. So I'm bullish, really, over the next, I would say 18 to 24 months, and I would say the Bears' time is very limited here. I don't see them, Mr. FOMO, holding this out for the entire summer.
No, but I don't have as much faith in this early part of July as maybe you do, or maybe some other people do. I think towards the end of July we'll start to see some motion, but we're still, I think, what, 10 months, 11 months. We're still just under a year away from the halving event, and if you look at the history, 6 months out is really when you start to see the major action. And when you're talking about the history of the charts and zooming out, the summertime is never.
Well, remember though, we're looking at late March, early April. It's now, we're not mid-July, but
I would say look for major movements probably September, October, somewhere around.
Yeah, I like the fall a lot, and then maybe a small
time to DCA in,
maybe
so
a small retrace.
You're already in your seat for launch, right?
Not exactly. Well, no, yes.
These opportunities like today, these are great times to get yourself ready. Get a little Bitcoin, get a little whatever else you believe in.
And I was saying this, this yesterday. A year from now, you're not going to get ETH under 1,900, under 2,000. You're going to look back and see 30,000. Whoa, Bitcoin was at 30,000. I mean, easily 12 months from now, I'm going to say we're looking at 50 to 60K BTC here. 12 months from now.
I don't like to make predictions, but I feel like that's pretty safe.
I know
to assume that it could get back to all-time highs during the next bull run. And I think it's pretty safe to say that from here, people are going to be disappointed with themselves if they wait too long to get back in. Because we were mentioning earlier, earlier this month, the price was at what, 24 or something like that?
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. And I was talking to you yesterday off the air. I asked you, what do you think the monthly low in the past 30 days of Bitcoin was? When I told you 24.75, you were like, what?
Yeah,
now you woke up today.
We were that low.
If you woke up today or in a couple hours, Bitcoin was at 24,700 and ETH was at 1,500, how many of you would buy? Raise your hand. Almost everyone watching. So just some perspective on prices here.
Right. And that, we've talked about the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index and the Ethereum Fear and Greed Index. And those are two good things to follow on Twitter while Twitter exists for now.
Oh, and I wanted to talk about that too.
Those things also are relative to short time frames, right? They're within the last 30 days. So right now, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index would probably show pretty high, even though we're only at 30,000. When, a couple years ago, it was at 90 when it was at this point, or, at this point a year ago, it might have been at, extreme fear at 10, so those kinds of things are sort of relative, and you have to take those indicators with a grain of salt. So, it's good to zoom out and take a look at that every once in a while, because that's actually surprising. And that was disappointing too, like you said, that I didn't jump in at some point. Hopefully I got something closer to the bottom this month, but I don't think.
Well, I mean, ideally, the Voyager people would have gotten their stuff back in December when we hit 15K, but is what it is, unfortunately. I want to talk about threads, and this is the Instagram version of Twitter. As you know, Twitter had that issue with the limits that frustrated a lot of people. I think this is very bullish for crypto, and here's why. Another platform, you had, I don't know how many, last time I looked, over 5 million people have already signed up. Hasn't even been a day old. And here's the thing, whether 10 million now, yeah. Whether Threads makes it or not, it's another place for people to talk about crypto and hype crypto and organize. So I think here's the thing. If Twitter does go under, which I don't think it will, but I do believe that over time it's just losing ads. There's just, it is what it is. If Twitter does lose some of its popularity, you now have another major social media giant here, it looks like, because they've got Instagram and Facebook behind them, Threads, that could, I wouldn't say take over, but could be a substitute. Or what I'm thinking is you're going to have both exist, right? So you're going to have people using Threads that were not using Twitter that are going to see stuff about the next bull run. So I think Threads is positive for crypto here. And it's perfect that it's launching right as we start the initial phases of the bull run.
I think so. I think it's great. You know, it still reminds me a little bit more of like Telegram or something like that. That it's not. It still has some things to work out as far as what I've seen.
But it's a day old. What is it going to be like 3 months from now?
Right, right. I haven't played with it too much, but it seems more like Telegram to me. But again, you know, competition breeds success.
That's what I'm thinking.
Coming along, Twitter's got to compete now, right?
I've seen.
If Meta comes out with their own version of Twitter, Twitter's got to step up their game and compete.
And I've seen some. I've seen some crypto influencers already create accounts, and there's been a lot. Actually, I would say last night I was on there. There was a decent amount of crypto talk. Just in case you want to follow me there, I'm AZcrypto 101. We'll put that in. I joined myself last night. It never hurts to promote the show. So we'll. I'm sure we'll have a. We'll put it up. We'll have before the end of the day, Mr. FOMO, the show profile on Threads as well, in case people want to follow us there. So, you know, Mr. FOMO, you had one other thing to discuss with the audience before we left today.
No, I think that's all we got today. I think we covered the BlackRock CEO, LTC. We even covered a little bit extra, but you know, for those,
we're not going to give the audience a secret token. We'll wait for another day for that.
No, we've got a separate video coming on that. That'll be separate.
Okay.
But we've got a subscriber request. We've got a couple of subscriber requests.
We got 2 subscribers. They're coming.
Yeah. So we've got 2 tokens that we've taken deep dives on, and we've
got some work to do. We've got some merchants. We've got some fresh merchandise coming up that you can't get anywhere else. That hopefully Mr. FOMO will have an announcement soon about. Cool
Setting
stuff.
up an online store is a lot harder than they make it out to be online. So you bear with me. I'll get it out there. I'm an English teacher, not a.
It'll be some cool stuff. I promise you, it's stuff that's not available anywhere. I've checked. So wait for that, guys.
So Carolina Crew's got a great question here.
Yeah, great question. Anything on the data breach for our vote? No one's admitted to doing anything. My guess, unofficial guess, this is a Binance issue. Just guessing. This might be a Binance issue because they had all the info. Ethos did not, because not everyone signed up for Ethos, right? I doubt the admin leaked this, and I doubt the Voyager team leaked this. Could they have been breached? Possibly. But this, to me, smells a lot like the Binance US getting our information and doing something with it. Impossible to prove right now, but eventually that information will come out. Great question, Caroline. Thank you so much for asking. But
it wasn't. There's no way that the scam emails could have gotten, like Carolina saying, no way that the scam emails could have gotten into the system and gotten everybody's information right. You know, the scam email is like a phishing job. Somebody sends it to you.
They don't have your banking information.
Right. The only way to do it is if you click on it and you follow through with that information. Right. So it had to be someone with that information. It's a good point that Binance. A lot of people forget that Binance did have everyone's personal information on their, you know, in their data centers. And so it's not outside of the realm of possibility, especially with the kind of scrutiny that Voyager and their lawyers are under right now with the SEC and everything else. You know, the Binance team is overseas. They're not, it's sort of like you know, yeah, whatever. We'll get to the SEC when we feel like it kind of thing. And so that's a great point. It could be, but I also wouldn't put it past somebody like Steve or one of the Voyager admin team to just do something completely stupid. Excuse me. These are the people that loaned $650 million out to a sketchy company when they could have just come to the customers and said, hey, we've got to draw back the VLP because we don't have the funds to keep this up. Right. Like that was the stupid decision that they made a long time ago. And instead of loaning that 650 million, they could have come to us and just leveled with us, but they didn't. So I wouldn't be surprised if they just haven't been securing the system enough. They haven't been,
It's
doing what
possible.
they need to do. Or for some odd reason, somebody fell for a phishing scam where somebody pretended to be from the SEC and Steve just answered the email. Right. So it could have been anything dumb like that. But I would say if it was malicious, then it's probably Binance.
Yeah, so we'll keep you guys updated. We'll also keep you guys up Alameda FTX. Hopefully another 22% recovery coming before the end of the year. We'll keep our fingers crossed. For Mr. FOMO, this is AZcrypto. Please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Have a great day, everybody.
See you later.